like a handful of reasons of why I think RLCS is right around the corner. So we will talk about that. So we're going to break this video down into 2 topics. Number 1, I think it'd be cool to give you guys 10 cool stats or 10 cool unique facts about RLCS 21-22 just to kind of summarize the season just for fun. Also, you guys can always check these out at dRekt RL, at dRekt RL on Twitter. He posts graphics and it's super cool. A lot of really interesting stuff. And then on the other side of things, we are going to talk about how my thought process has gotten to be where it is for 22-23. So first things first, let's crush these out. Some of the cool stats. dRekt indeed the GOAT. The first one, at the Spring Major, version 1 finished the event with 5.52 shots per game. In the previous season, RLCS X and 2001-2022, or 2001, yikes. In the previous season for RLCS X and 2021-2022 seasons, in all regions, there were 99 other instances of a team finishing an event with under 5.52 shots per game. And in 90% of those, the team finished last or second to last. And only twice did a team finish top 8. V1 finished top 3 in the major. Pretty crazy. So, if you're shooting under 5.5 shots per game, do not expect to win unless your defense is goated and you're waiting for an opportunity, and then you can get top 3 to major. Insane stuff. Number 2, during Winter 2 of North America, so Winter Regional 2 of North America, we had the first goal scored in the game that was not credited to a player. At 0 seconds in Game 4 between Energy and G2, Garrett kept the ball up and own goaled. It had been 15 to 20 seconds since the last G2 player touched it, so no player was given the goal. G2 Esports scored. So the team gets credit for the goal because it had been 10 to 20, like 15 to 20 seconds since anybody touched the ball. So the game doesn't have an allocation of a player touching it. So it's just an own goal, even though 6 goals were scored that series. Pretty crazy stuff. That's actually really cool. It's the first time it's ever happened. Up next, in Middle East and North Africa, during a 60 series span from Fall 1 to Spring 2, the Falcons was only ever outshot by their opponent in 1 series. It was a 3-0 victory against Raptors Esports, and Raptors finished that event without winning a game and only qualified for 1 event as a team. So from the very first regional of fall all the way to the second regional of spring, Falcons was not outshot except for 1 team where they won 3-0. And the team that did it never qualified and did it without winning a game. So I don't know if it's an accuracy issue or what, but for them to allow that many shots on target, more than Falcons, and then still lose in a sweep, dRekt, I don't know where you pull these stats from, man, but you're crazy. Up next, in the winter split, when Moist Esports broke out as a team, they did so by not giving up a single series. They were put on match point 35 times, most in Europe and North America, and had a 29-6 record in those games. During those games, they also saw a very drastic increase statistically. I have the image here. Stats from dRekt. Let's take a peek. You want to talk about people who are clutch. That is an absurd win difference over the next closest teams. And when they're on match point, their stats just skyrocket. They score significantly more goals. They significantly less goals go in. They have more shots, almost another shot per game. They reduce how many shots. They have more points per game. They have more assists. They have more saves. They have more demos. They take more shots, or they take more demos. They get demoed more in those last games. People get desperate. Their accuracy is better. Their assist percentage is better. Like, every single stat that matters, except for getting demoed more, goes up significantly when they're on match point. You want to talk about a team that has ice in the veins? That's insanity. Unfortunately, we'll never see that roster play together again, but that's not the point. Honestly absurd. That's pretty crazy, man. That's really, really cool to see. During Winter 1, so Winter Regional 1, the world champions in Team BDS had their by far worst 2-series stretch in the RLCS. Against Queso and Dignitas, they got outscored 21-2, outshot 80-53, and were shut out for 35 minutes and 18 seconds straight over 7 games, as they also got perfect swept by Dignitas. That is an insane stat. To be shut out for 35 minutes and 18 seconds over 7 games. Wild stuff, dRekt. Wild stuff. Up next, this season of RLCS 21-22, we saw 12 instances of an all-time RLCS record in a game before being broken or tied. With 8 regions playing 76 total events, regionals, winters, majors, all that kind of stuff, majors, worlds, etc., there are much more opportunities to break records like in RLCS. Taking a look at some of the all-time records, these are some really cool stats. A lot of the casters really like these stats because going into the big moments like world championships, majors, all that kind of stuff, we want to like hype up these moments. So like when worlds is going down, when big moments are happening, as a caster, we look at those and go, okay, there's a potential that this gets broken. And like dRekt will actually feed these stats to the casters. So it'll be like, okay, what's the longest OT? And it'll be like, it's this time. Keep an, listen for it. And then you'll like, these one-off stats are super cool. So like the most goals per game was broken, the most demos per game, the most 23 demos in a game. Brutal. The most assists per game was Beast Mode versus Envy. I remember that one. It used to be held by Fireburner against Rogue. I know V1 has talked about this, where they were in comms and they were discussing this being a potential, and then Team Envy actually tried to help them do this. This was the game that they dominated them in like game 4 or 3 or whatever it was. I think it was a sweep. Goals per game, assists per game. So again, with a really long season, there's more potential. There's more contrast between the highs and the lows. Wait, what? Envy helped? Yeah. So yeah, some pretty cool stats. It used to be when like the demo stat was when I think it was Illusion. I'm pretty sure it was Illusion. Didn't touch the ball. He had like 2 points in one of the games or whatever it was. He literally went for only demos and he had 20 in one of the games. Insane stuff. Insane stuff. So yeah, some pretty cool stats that are being broken. Version 1 had a weird time with Wasteland Night. The map played for game 5 in best of 7s. So if you play a best of 7, game 5 it doesn't go to Champions Field. It goes to Wasteland Night. After winning 6 straight on the map from Fall 2 to Winter 3, they lost the next 8 from Winter Major to Spring Major. They broke that 8-loss streak at Worlds, where they won the next 4. Placebo is definitely a thing. And I've heard V1 talk about, hey, we don't like playing on Wasteland Night. Turns out when you need to clutch up, you can do it at Worlds. Win 4 in a row. I know that is part of the reason why they beat Space Station. It's because they finally went on Wasteland Night, I'm pretty sure. Now, there is another stat that I'm not going to show here because it's a lot of numbers and there's not a whole lot to it. Piggybacking off of an all-time RLCS record, there is a bunch of individual game records for players within each of the region. I'm going to push you guys to dRekt's Twitter to go check that one out because there's a lot of cool stats with it. I don't need to tease it to you guys here. Up next, between all RLCS seasons, events, and regions, there have been 1,234 best of 7s played. 1, 2, 3, 4. Love that. Between all the RLCS seasons, events, and regions, there's 1,234 best of 7s played. And in those, there have been 16 reverse sweeps and 6 perfect sweeps. 9 of the reverse and 5 of the perfect happen this season. That's pretty cool. Also, MENA, the MENA region, and lands are the only time a reverse sweep has not happened yet. Give it time. That's pretty crazy. Never a reverse sweep on LAN or in MENA. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Also, Agilite and Detonator of APAC North have played each other 9 times during the season, all in best of 7s. Their first 8 series against each other all went to game 7. The full 56 of 56 possible. After those 8 series, they were tied in series 4-4, games 28-28, and goals 106-106. That's so cool. That's such a cool stat. Think about that. APAC North, you've got 2 teams, Agilite and Detonator, and they've played each other 9 times, all best of 7s. And every stat is the same. You've played 56 of 56 potential games. They've always gone to game 7. You're tied 4-4 in those 8 series. You've gone all 28-28. It's gone even back and forth. You have scored the exact same amount of goals too. That's insane. dRekt, you're an absolute legend. And I look forward to hearing more of these crazy stats over the next season. Again, if you guys would like to see more of these stats, dRekt RL on Twitter. He's got graphics being posted with tweets and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you check him out. But the reason why I bring up that stuff is I am very excited for the next season of RLCS, which is part 2 of this video. With the way that things have played out, there's a lot of cool stats and a lot of potential with all these super teams being built. And I think that's part of the reason why the speculation that I have about when the next season starts can be supported by a few things. So, number 1, the reason why I think RLCS is right around the corner is because we have heard major teasings about more esports decals coming. There's been a conversation for a long time in the space about esports decals coming right around the corner, and specifically in October. We've seen that confirmed in many places. We've seen a lot of conversations about it. I can tell you right now, I have seen some of the new decals that are going to be implemented. I've seen some of the leaks, not stuff I'm going to make public out of respect for the organizations and for Psionics, but they look pretty cool. I've seen BDSs. I've seen a few others. I don't know which ones I should say because I got to be careful. But BDS, the world champs, they're obviously going to have skins in game. So BDS, I've seen theirs, and I've seen a couple others, and they look awesome. So October seems to be the time, and I'm going to put that out there. Very likely will we see 2022, 2023, in my opinion, starting in October. If I had to guess, it's early October, not late October. And the reason why I think it's early October is due to the fact that all these rosters are being announced. All these changes are being announced. Players are being forced to make changes sooner than later. And normally you do not see roster changes announced unless they have to. Usually they wait till the optimal moment, the very last second, to make sure that these announcements are happening. And more are you seeing them being announced. We're seeing these changes happen. They're looking for new teams and all those rumors and all that kind of stuff usually don't happen unless there is a roster lock or a trade window closing right around the corner. So for my expectation, and this is a conversation I want to have in the future anyway, and I've alluded to this, is what is the optimal time for an off season? What is the time for a trade window that should happen? How long of a season should we have? And I firmly believe that with a lot of these things, there is like a conversation piece of, if you didn't make the spring major, probably not going to Worlds. So you haven't been playing Rocket League since when? Like June as a pro? July as a pro? When was it was July, right? Spring major was when? Yeah, it was July. July 3rd is when it ended. So if you're a pro and you didn't make the major, you haven't played for like a few weeks. Like you haven't been playing since June. So you're talking break wise, 4 months of an off season to try to figure out where you're going to go, what team you're going to assign with. If you're a pro, kind of like if you're in the NFL and you play in the Super Bowl, you play an extra month, fine. So realistically, the offseason, I agree with being in line of like 2 to 3 months, probably more towards the 3 months. If we can get 3/4 of the year being Rocket League and then 1/4 of the year not being Rocket League, if you allocate, like someone was saying, the trade windows, the downtime in between like majors and regional, like regional 3 and a major is like a few weeks, then yeah, roughly it comes out to be about 3-4 months. So I think scheduling wise, it kind of makes sense. So if you're looking at about 2.5 months, that's right around the time of like October, if I had to do the looking at the calendar, 7th or the 14th is when I would assume that RLCS starts. I would assume open qualifiers are going to be like the 7th or the 8th, the week before, and then we get into actual regionals on the 14th of October. If I had to guess and speculate based on what I'm seeing. But you're talking about the rumors of new decals coming and like an update to the esports shop and esports decals. You're talking all these rosters that are starting to get into conversation, all the changes and stuff that are happening that I think are being forced by the start of the next season. Like it's a kick in the pants to all these teams to be like, hey, you don't have much time. Figure it out. I think there's a very good assumption as to why the next season is actually like, it's coming quick. Like a month away from RLCS 22-23. I don't know, Chad, if you guys agree with that. But I'm pretty convinced that it's going to be right around the corner. Just due to the way that things are shaping up and the way that things are looking. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Again, this is just theory crafting. This is just speculation based upon the things that I'm seeing and the assumption of what we had. And the third thing is when the last season started. If you look at the off season, and we can do this with season X and 21. So if you look at season 9 to season 10, and then season 10 to season 21, the season 9 primer came out on July 26th and announced the start August 4th. Let's do some writing. August 4th was RLCS season 9 for the Swiss stage, for the wild card. That's the world's primer. I got linked to the wrong thing. It linked me to the wrong thing. Let's check the rules. Season 9 rules is what I'm trying to find. And I have them here. We go to season X. We go to fall for North America, August 15th. Or RLCS 10 or RLCS X. Can't be found. It's literally not there anymore. That's it. That is indeed a bummer. North America, RLCS. Season 9 was the last time we did like a league play based system. So it's a little bit skewed. So they did them once every other. So you figure 6 months later, it'd be August again. We did a season like every 6 months roughly. So you're talking for this, it's kind of hard to do for season 9, but figure 6 months later, you get a new season. So this one then starts the 15th. And then if we look at 21-22, Regional 1, qualifier was October 8th. So all I'm saying is that aligns like literally a month from when I'm recording this video. It's September 8th. I think October 8th. If we go back all the way to 2021 of October, the 8th was the Friday. Like, I think it's right in line. Signs say yes. I'm thinking it's the 7th. The 7th is when we get play-ins. The 14th is when we get Regional 1 for North America. If I had to guess. I don't know. I think I'm onto something, chat. I think I'm onto something. I'm curious on what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Again, check out dRekt. Cool stats. Let me know if you guys have a favorite stat down that in the comments you potentially didn't hear that you would like to bring up. But I always love his stuff. I'll link his Twitter in the description and to some of the tweets that he's been putting out. But personally, I think RLCS right around the corner. I think we have new esports decals coming that have been rumored and basically confirmed from elsewhere. We've got roster changes that are happening way sooner than I thought we were going to. That is teasing stuff. And if it's in a line with any of the other stuff, and if they're going to try to accomplish what they did last season, they've got to start soon. So my assumption, regionals, the play-ins, the early, like the invitational qualifiers, all that kind of stuff is going to be on October 7th. And Regional 1 is going to be the following week for the main event with the top 16 on the 14th of October. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys think that's in the money, like on the money. It's hitting the mark, but that is what I'm speculating. That's what I'm expecting. So I'm going to probably keep pushing that narrative because that's what I think to be true, but you just never know with Psionic. So that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoy the content, as always, like, subscribe, turn on notifications. It helps me out greatly. Almost at 50K subs. If you haven't done it already, please do so. And let me know in the comments down below. Do you think I'm doing it? Do you think I'm right? Let me know. Let me know what your guys' theories are. As always, happy to discuss. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.